Hey guys, didn't originally plan on posting this, but there are a lot of comments asking for it, so I guess this is my Mutant Dogmatica deck profile. I'll try to explain a lot of the cards because I know not a lot of people know what this deck does. So I play 3 ST46 and 3 M05. Um, these are your starters for the deck. This guy searches spell and traps. This one searches monsters. It's in the name M and then ST. Um, they can also summon the big monsters out of the deck. These two. I wouldn't play any less than this. These are like very good. There's a kind of like a loop you can get going with these cards. So I'll explain that later though. For the big monsters, we just play two. We don't play Mist because it's I don't think it's very good. We don't like banishing spells, and we only play one of the field spells, so it's not worth playing. For Beast, he negates spell cards. He negates and banishes spells or spell effects. So if somebody, let's say, cursed Eldlands or something, they can pay 800 and you can still negate and banish it, and they don't even get the send off of it. This guy, he's just big. I don't really like his effect. He just banishes monsters in the field. It comes up sometimes, but I wouldn't say it's like great by any means. Beast can't be targeted by monster effects, and Arsenal cannot be targeted by traps. When they're destroyed, they add back certain cards. Beast will add back traps. Arsenal will add back spells. Uh, yeah, that's it for these guys. That's it for the mutant monsters. For Dogmatika, we play Floor, Maximus, and an Ecclesia. Uh, so these guys I would absolutely not cut. They're super good. I'm not going to explain them. Well, Maximus we play a lot of targets for sending, but yeah, Ecclesia, I mean, you guys know how good that is. Fleur de Lis, we needed a target for an out to Dragoon, so this was the best option. There's a couple other cards we play in here. A lot of people don't know what this deck does, so sometimes you can summon a mutant, banish a trap, and people don't know to negate that. We just summon Arsenal out and swing over a Dragoon or crash into it. Swing over if you have the field spell because it grants like a tiny little attack boost. But that's it for Dogmatika monsters. Hand trap. So we just played 3 D Shifter. Um, it's the best hand trap in the game if your deck can play it. It's broken. We don't really care about the Dogmatika parts. Like if we D Shifter, it's game most of the time. Works extremely well in this deck. Your cards actually like getting banished. So very good. Going first or second. You could drop this on your turn, going first, and they're locked out for the next turn too, and you've got your engine going and everything. It's kind of insane. Triple Nadir Servant. This card, you can't really. I mean, you guys know how good this card is. Um, triple Pot of Prosperity. So a lot of builds are running Extravagance. The reason I chose to run Prosperity over Extravagance is because I wanted to play more like toolbox stuff in the extra deck for the Dogmatika cards. There's a lot of cards I wanted to fit in there, and I couldn't really do that playing Extravagance because you end up banishing all of them. Um, this card also allows you to find stuff that Extravagance wouldn't let you. If you're looking for like a Floodgate or um, part of your engine, like a Mutant starter or like a Dogmatika card, this really gets you there. It's pretty awesome. One thing to remember with this, we play a lot of cards that draw us cards, so I'm sure you can see talent sitting over there. Uh, Nadir Servant has the option to draw you a card with one of the targets we play in the extra deck. The field spell also cycles your hand. Um, that's just be mindful of that when you play this card. Uh, 2 talents. I am not sold on this. It's probably one thing I would change. Really, if you don't own guess if you happen to own talents and don't own Dogmatika cards, this card is very good. Playing 3 in like a pure build, it really gives you the oomph to kind of push through boards or whatever. Play Defissure, E-Telly, the Field Spell, and Mutant Fusion. So, Defissure, again, it's the same thing as D-Shifter. We also play Macrocosmos. Um, like again, it interferes with your Dogmatika cards, but it doesn't matter because if you go first, activate this. Go second, activate this. Decks can't play. Like everything in the format needs the graveyard. This card's insane. Um, Itelli, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but all of the level 3s and the level 2s are all psychics. This can start your whole engine and get you a lot of pluses and kind of set you up with Beast first turn. There's also a really cool, like I wouldn't say combos, but I mean it's a trap deck. There's as much as you can get for a combo, but with the field spell here. Field spell, it on activation you can special summon a mutant from your level 4 or lower mutant from your hand or banished, so it doesn't target. Um, it gives all your mutants 100 attack per different mutant card that's banished. That it's not super relevant, but it allows you to do some cute stuff with like Arsenal swinging over Dragoon or just pushing for more damage overall. Mutant Fusion, you have to play this like I've wanted to cut this in the past, but it really you're able to search it off of a Nadir Servant target or punishment target. Um, it really like pushes through boards and allows you to kill pretty easy. Oh, the field spell has one more effect of shuffling back a mutant monster or placing a mutant monster on the bottom of your deck to draw a card. That really goes hand in hand with the card we play for an Nadir Servant. You really get to cycle your deck and look for certain trap cards that you really want to have. It's like one of my favorite things about this deck is that it takes advantage of a mechanic that Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have, but other card games do, like mulliganing your hand. Um, yeah, that's really one of my favorite parts about the deck. So we're on to the trap cards. So we play for the mutant cards. We play 3 expansion and 2 cry. Expansion is a starter. I know it's a trap card, but a lot of times in this deck you can just go first, and if you don't open any monsters, you can just set a bunch of traps and play that way. Because we play strike and like punishment and some floodgates, and this card being a trap starter, it's extremely good. It can special summon or add a level 4 or lower. I believe it's level 4. We don't play the level 4, so it's kind of irrelevant. So we summon M05 or ST46, and that'll set up your engine. So during your opponent's end phase, we'll flip this, um, summon M05, search ST46, and that sets you up with lots of fodder to start summoning your big guys out of the deck. Especially because this is a continuous, so you can use it as fodder for the little guys to banish and summon Arsenal. Cry, this is our fusion spell. You'll see a lot of lists playing 3 of this. I don't, maybe in a pure build that's pretty good, but for Dogmatika you don't need it. It ends up being more of a brick. I've played, especially in the remote duel. I opened 2 of this multiple times, and those are really the only games that I lost where I didn't open a starter. There are 17 cards in this deck that can start your deck, and sometimes you just don't see any of them. That's how it goes. But um, this card's really good. I wouldn't play more than 2 though. It sucks to open. 2 punishment. I did play 3 for a while, but again, with it's the same thing with Cry. You don't want to open more than more than 1 or any for that matter. You like searching it. It's very good because you'll play a lot of targets for it, but um, it's once per turn, and it locks you out, which isn't super relevant for this deck. But like there's some cool chain things you can do where you'll activate punishment and chain Cry, and you'll be able to just pop 3 cards and their whole field's just gone. It's basically just like a torrential combo, but you also get your mutant synthesis on the field. Other trap cards play triple Solemn Strike. This card, I mean, this card's insane right now. Like, you can use it in combination with like a Floodgate or a Punishment or a Cry to just break somebody's board completely, and it's kind of insane. Going first or second, like this card's stupid. I wouldn't play any less than this. Um, Triple Summon Limit, double there can be, and a Macrocosmos. Again, I explained this earlier with the D-Shifter and DeFi. It's just too good not to play. This card's actually a lot better than Defissure. It banishes everything, so Eldritch just they're screwed. So very good card. Double there can be in summon limit. These cards really depend on what you're expecting to play against in a tournament. Um, there can be kind of good against everything. This is probably another thing that I would switch along with the talents. Um, Probably play more of this. Maybe like switch these ratios, maybe 3 and 2, but um, they're both pretty much blowouts. Like this card can break boards though. So summon limit kind of requires you to either go first or be able to break the board and then set this because summon limit's more of a blowout because they can't go into an extract monster without like I mean they can go into link 1, but that doesn't really matter. So yeah, I mean these cards are good, but this is one thing I would look at changing for sure. That's it for the main deck. It's 42 cards. I mean, this deck can get away with playing more than 40 because it has so many cards that just start your deck and so many ways to draw more cards. If you wanted to, you could try to get it down to 40, but there are so many cards in here you want to play. Um, yeah. On to the extra deck. We play one Mutant Ultimus. This guy's kind of crazy late game. You don't go into this early. I see some people talking about using Maximus to kind of send off a bunch of fusions to set him up. I I like sending a lot of other stuff first in order to gain the advantage to where I can reliably summon this guy and not lose the game. He's a big Omni Negate. When he dies or gets destroyed by an opponent's card, he adds back 3 different types of mutant cards. So a monster, a spell, and a trap. So very good, but man, is he hard to summon. Like it has come up, but um, I wouldn't play 0, but I wouldn't play more than 1 while we're playing Prosperity. We play triple Synthesis. You could honestly play 2 of this if you really wanted to find room for other things, but this is like your bread and butter, what you summon every time. Um, it pops a card on summon and it makes himself unaffected by anything your opponent activates. So he's really sticky. He adds a card back when he dies. The one thing that you need to watch out if you're playing this deck for the first time, he requires 2 different attributes to summon. So both of the little guys are both water. So if you have some sort of combo where you open up M05 and are able to get to ST46, make sure you're also able to get to Beast and use his effect before you use Cry, because you can use Beast effect and banish himself along. Arsenal can also do that. Um, so your banish sound will look something like a Beast and like a ST46 or something, and we just shuffle both these back with a Cry and set up for Synthesis. But if your banish is like this for some reason, um, yeah, it's Cry's kind of dead and you can't summon Synthesis. So just be mindful of that. It when I was first starting to play this deck, I made that mistake a lot. So read your cards. um, 2 Natis. Yeah, I mean we banish 1 off of Prosperity sometimes, but sometimes 2 comes up. It's crazy breaking boards. Send 1 off Nadir Servant, pop something. Maximus, banish 1, send this and something else. It's just, I mean, it's very good. You've seen this in every Dogmatika build. So more stuff that we send. We send a Toad because our little guys are all water. I wouldn't send this normally unless you don't have a follow up. Like if you don't have expansion or you don't have another monster in your hand, I normally send this guy with Maximus if I open like the Nadir Servant plus mutants. Yeah, I mean he's very good. I wouldn't play more than 1 though, especially with Prosperity. Like you just need 1. When I was playing Extravaganza, I definitely would like to play 2 of this just because it would come up, but I wouldn't go back to Extravagance with this deck because you want to play so many different cards. It's kind of crazy. I played the Predaplant to add Mutant Fusion. There's a crazy combo where well, not really a combo. You go Maximus, send both of these, and you just +2. Add during your end phase, then add during their standby phase, and you end up adding a lot of cards, and it's So if you have like a Floodgate or good trapped card set with Beast on the field, like your next turn ends up just being crazy. So you get so far ahead with those. Um, one more target for Maximus, Nadir Servant. Tri-Brigade Fairjet. This is probably my favorite card in the extra deck. We don't even summon it, but it really helps you fix your hands, like I was saying earlier with the field spell. Um, yeah, I really like that mechanic. It's funny during the extravaganza, somebody got really mad when I sent this up in Deer Servant. He said that I shouldn't be able to use the effect while I'm not playing a Tri Brigade deck. So yeah, shout out to that guy. uh, Other cards, Almirage. I thought about playing Secure Garnet too because there's sometimes where you open a mutant normal summon like ST46 and you open Maximus and you want it to be able to summon it, but you can't. Um, so I'd probably try to find room for Secure Garnet in here. Um, Other than that, you link off a normal summon mutant because they're all under 1,000 attack and under level 4. Uh, you just summon Ecclesia and it's good enough. So for the other cards, this is stuff I was testing. I'm not super happy with these. I never really used them. I didn't use them at all, actually. Yeah, I'll just Sky Cavalry, Centuria, Fortune Tune, Deern Girsu, and Zeus. Um, in theory, this sounds like extremely broken, but it is not. You do not end up with enough level 2s or level 3s on the field that you want to use for these. Um, I would definitely cut these 100%. This guy, if you really played the deck in a way to where you try to go for Zeus a lot, I could see you playing him. But Fortune Tune just doesn't do the same thing. Sky Cavalry, it's able to out Dragoon sometimes if you're able to beta negate or something. It's kind of a crazy card, but man, you never be able to make these. Um, Tingirsu, you end up with a lot of level 8s on the field with between Arsenal, Beast, Maximus, Fleur de Lis. Um, Arsenal is also a machine, so if he ends up being banished when you have the opportunity to summon Dingirsu, you could get a 2-send Zeus with that. Um, but again, I never felt like I wanted to make him because I always felt like I was either if I had multiple level 8s on the field, I was just so far ahead it didn't matter. So and then Zeus to go with those guys. That's it for the extra deck. 15 cards and then Nibiru token. Um, Side deck. There's stuff I'd change in here too, but I'll explain it as we go. So I played the 1 Feather Duster and 2 Lightning Storm for back row. Feather Duster, I would not change that. This card's broken. I don't know why they unbanned that, but 2 Lightning Storm. This card I would maybe change to maybe, I don't know, like evenly matched or something. Um, there were times where I drew this like past turn 1 and it was just awful. Like I couldn't use it. I just ended up banishing it off of Beast or like Beast or Arsenal or something. So I would change that for sure. Uh, Double Nibiru, triple Ally of Justice. Um, I wanted more stuff for combo in here for sure, so I'd find a way to fit that. And I've got a few more cards in here that I would say to cut, but the Extravaganza was mostly like rogue, kind of like trap decks. I'll explain my matchups later, but it really depends on. I mean, like you really got to think about what you plan to face. Cycle Reader, I played Drytron once and I drew this card and I just didn't have a starter, so just wasn't good enough, I guess. But if you open this in a starter, I mean, it's kind of crazy. So um, yeah, nothing more to say about that. Played triple Judgment in the side deck. You have to play this for when you go first. You don't want to get blown out by evenly matched Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster. Beast is an out to some of those cards if you open a mutant card, but you really need to have these two. I wouldn't main deck them because like you do lose the die roll, this card's just dead, you know. Yeah. Imperial Order. This is also an out to like Lightning Storm, Feather Duster, whatever. I put it against Drytron, but I don't know. I'm not super thrilled about that card. Um, Triple Starlight Road. So about this card, you see I'm not playing Stardust in the extra deck. You don't need it if you're gonna play this card, but we mainly lose to evenly matched. So because we have the spell negate for Lightning Storm Feather or whatever, you have to draw multiples and hope that we also don't have Imperial Order Solemn Judgment. So I would change these for like more hand traps, maybe like Droll or Ash or something in the side deck. Yeah, that's it for the deck profile. Um, my matchups. So I ended up dropping at round 5 at X2. Um, I had some stuff come up, so I didn't really want to keep playing to avoid doing that. Round 1, I played against Dogmatika, Invoked Dragoon. Um, I won 2-0 against that guy. I mean, he game 1 he made Dragoon like first turn, and I was a little nervous because I know my deck has a little hard time outing that, but my hand was something like Mutant, Starter, Nadir Servant, and he kind of just didn't know what to negate with Dragoon, and I ended up outing his board. Game 2, I think. I don't remember what happened game 2, but I know it was pretty quick. Round 2, I played against Dragon Maid. I still don't really know what that deck does. I know it makes Seal pass, and it's kind of a joke. I think I Dimension Shifted him both games, and it was just not even close. Um, Round 1, I lost the die roll. Round 2, I believe I won the die roll. Round 3, that's where I played MBT. I'm sure that's where a lot of you guys are coming from. I believe I won the die roll for that game. I won game 1. Game 2, we both opened kind of bad. Well, I opened very bad. I didn't have any cards to play. I didn't open any trap cards that were good. I had like a Maximus Fleur de Lis, Mutant Cry, uh, and some other. I think I had like another arsenal in my hand or something. Um, I like drew 3 cards. I drew talents. So I was able to. I baited out like a hand trap or something. I drew another card to bait out a hand trap. And he had another Ash to stop my starter, so I ended up just losing that game pretty bad. Game 3, again, I didn't. I think I opened a Mutant starter, but my traps were just not good enough. I didn't. Uh, this is probably where the third There Can Be would come up, because There Can Be is very strong against Zoo Eldritch. Yeah, I don't feel like that match was my fault. It was just my deck just kind of stopped working. Um, Round 4, I played against Duel, which again, I believe I lost the die roll on that. I won that match 2-0. He had only been playing the game for 5 months, but he was doing he did pretty good. I believe I had game 1, I had like Macrocosmos D Fissure, and it was just it was kind of ridiculous. Um, yeah, that I don't remember game 2 on that one. Round 5, man, this one really did it for me. I It was Drytron. Game 1, I opened very solid. I had mutant cards. I had summon limit, whatever. Um, I go first, open my play, set up mutant beast, and flip summon limit. He then gets very angry and starts kind of yelling, and it's very awkward because I had multiple people watching the match. Yeah, I won that game pretty swiftly. Game 2, uh, didn't open a hand trap, so yeah, Herald of Ultimateness, it was rough. Game 3, my hand was Solemn Judgment, Summon Limit, and then like, gosh, I don't remember. It was not a good card. It was like Dogmatika Maximus or something. And my next 2 draws were also not playable, so I ended up just getting beat down, and I just lost that game. And he was also the guy that said I shouldn't be able to play the Tri Brigade card in a non-Tri Brigade deck. So very disappointed I lost to that guy. But I ended up just dropping after that match. I was X2, so I could have played it out, but I was mainly using this tournament to kind of test some new things with like the Zeus and the extra deck or some of these side deck cards. Overall, I'm very happy with the deck. I feel like it's very slept on. I feel like it's kind of like a better version of Altergeist. Um, yeah, that's it. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Um, yeah,